Hello everyone, this is Ronick Fru again. I'm going to be guiding you guys through labs number 7, DNS analysis for the networks and infrastructure course. We're going to be using protocol analyzers to filter and parse a traffic sample collected from a compromised network, identify suspicious activity on the network affiliated with DNS and HTTP protocols, build a file of strange DNS request which may indicate a compromise, look at DNS settings in both Windows machine and Linux machine, capture DNS request in Wireshark from Kali for a local web server. Let's go through the scenario. The sales team for your corporation has expressed concerns that a competitor has been stealing your clients for the past couple of weeks. Some type of espionage is suspected by a particular employee on the sales team, but there is no proof as to how this person is sending data to your competitors. Okay, in labs number 6, you are required to monitor an HTTP traffic for a suspicious activity of a suspected employee trying to steal company data or company secret. In this lab, you are required to be able to read through DNS and HTTP traffic to dig into if there is some sort of an espionage going on. If that employee that was Googling and trying to find how to steal company secret, if that employee has succeeded and has actually stolen the company secret and sent it out to your client's competitor. Okay, if you haven't gone through this lab before, please watch this video. However, you can roll with me. Let's begin the lab. Step 1, we're going to log into a Kali machine, the password, there we go. Step 2, we're going to launch the terminal with a command line interface, that's how I call it. We're going to run the command Wireshark space desktop / employee underscore cap.pcap ng space ampersand. So this is actually a file that was captured, a traffic that was captured using Wireshark that has been saved in a file on the desktop for purposes of this lab. So we're going to go ahead and type the Wireshark command space desktop / employee underscore cap .p. We go. Okay, we loaded the file already in Wireshark, so we're going to expand it. Step 3 is requiring us to scroll through manually on the packet list and kind of see if we can gather some information. However, it says that it's going to be difficult because there is a great amount of SSL data being transferred. We all know that SSL means it's a secure transfer mode. So apparently the suspect might have protected the file in transit. So we cannot see what data content the traffic is. Okay. However, step 4 now requires us to just run a search, an HTTP search on the bar to see if we can bring up something. Unfortunately, there is no HTTP traffic. Remember, in lab 6, we were able to pull up an HTTP traffic and we're able to see the GET request that has an information of how to steal company's secret. Okay. Step number 4, or number 5, sorry, is requiring us to clear out the HTTP and search for the DNS. Remember, our role is to be able to, we are required to track the DNS and HTTP traffic. Okay, we've seen a chunk of DNS traffic through the packet list. Okay, that's a good sign. However, we're able to see DNS packets or traffics. However, we are not able to see the content of the traffic. Nevertheless, we're able to identify 2 websites that the suspect visited. And we're going to scroll manually to check and see what those 2 suspected websites are. You see www.steganography.org. That's one. Steganography. It's a process in which somebody intends to hide data by embedding it into an image. So you can have a picture, a digital picture, but in that digital picture, it might look like it's a digital picture. However, but it's actually data that has been embedded into that for hiding purposes. So that looks suspicious if that suspect has browsed on www.steganography.org. Another website of concern here is the quickcrypto.com. We all know what crypto stands for. Okay, so we've identified 2 suspicious sites that the suspect visited. Step 7, we're going to go back to our command line interface and we're going to open a new tab and we're going to run the nano command to create a file and save our findings for further review. So we're going to run the nano command, which is nano. We want that file to be on the desktop, / and we want the file name to be dns_request.txt. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and press the enter key. So we've created a file, it's open. Now we're going to go down, line 8, we're going to go down and record the suspicious sites that we discovered. The very first was quick crypto. quickcrypto.com. The second was steganography.org. Double check. Quick crypto. Messed up. Stenography. Sorry about that pronunciation. Stenography.org. Okay, we got it. So we're going to go ahead and save it. So we'll do the Control O and press Enter key and Control X, and we're going to go back to the command line interface. Step number 9, we're going to go ahead and close Wireshark. Okay. So we're going to move to the second phase of this lab. Capturing DNS packets. Step 1 says, let's run the cat command. So we're going to go ahead and run the cat command. Cat space etc slash so assuming that the resolve.conf it's already a file, so we're going to run to see the list. So cat is like read. Let's read the content of this file and see whatever DNS server. Let's view which DNS servers our device will reach out to when it has a DNS request. So we're running, cat is like, let's read this document. So we're going to run this and see. Unfortunately, nothing. The content is empty. So if you see this says, if your results are similar to the screenshot above, please skip to step 2. If you do not receive any results, continue with the step below to add the DNS name server IP addresses. So this is what they're talking about, the screenshot. We expected to have this. Unfortunately, our request came back empty. So we're going to go ahead, because it's not similar to that screenshot, we're going to go ahead and run this command, the sudo nano command. So we're going to do with a super user privilege sudo nano etc, because the file is within the etc, and to have access and write anything you need to have a super user access. So that's why we're doing sudo conf enter. Okay, we're going to go ahead and enter our password, which is same password that we used in logging into our Kali machine. If it doesn't display as you type, don't worry about it. It's in the back end. Let's press the enter. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and enter the following into the resolve.conf file. It's going to be some manual process here. Name server space 192.168.1.1 name server space 1 name server space name server we're just replicating. So let me do a comparison. Okay, looks the same. Looks the same. Go ahead and close this. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as well. So let's do the Control X Y. Then we press the Enter key. Okay, that's saved. Okay, we're going to repeat that cat command to see if the content is there. And go ahead and repeat that cat command. There we go. Yep, we've got the data. Okay, and it's now looking good. So step 2 says the file is named resolve since these are the servers our device will reach out to when it needs to resolve a domain name to an IP address. Okay. Note the entry 8.8.8.8. This is one of Google's public DNS servers. Yep, that's what leads you to the Google server. Also note the entry 192.168.1.1. This is our gateway. Yep, usually the one. Yep, that's our gateway. So the 8, it's one of Google's DNS server, and this will be our gateway. Take note. Okay. Step 3 says now we are going to perform a live packet capture with Wireshark. To capture packets with Wireshark instead of just viewing them, we need to use our sudo privileges. In your terminal, we're going to have you execute sudo Wireshark. If prompted, enter sudo password. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. The Wireshark that we ran when we started this lab was just already captured data. So now we're going to go live. So we're going to go ahead and execute sudo Wireshark. We're going to run that Wireshark. So notice here we didn't do / and directly to a particular file because we're going live. So we're just running Wireshark, sudo Wireshark, and then we press the enter key. There we go. Now whatever it's running right now, it's live. If you've never run Wireshark before, this is what it takes. If we were using a Windows machine, we'd just go ahead and type Wireshark and run it. We can just install and run it. But now we're running it through the command line interface by using that command sudo Wireshark, and it's going to launch it. Okay, we're going to go to step 4. So now we want to capture packets on our ETH0 interface. So every time you see an ETH, so remember we talked about that our gateway address. So keep that in mind. So that's what we want to capture, a packet, ATO. So we're going to go ahead and look. If you see it's already highlighted, that's it. So we're going to go ahead and click the blue thing in the upper left corner to begin the packets capture. So the Wireshark name, if you look, that's why they call the blue fin. So if you look at the shark has got a fin. So that's why this is why they do have this here, this sign of a shark's fin. So we're going to go ahead and start. So the ETHO, that's where we want to capture our packets. That's our focus. So we're going to go ahead and click start. There we go. Step 5 says minimize Wireshark. So we're not going to close Wireshark. We're just going to go ahead and minimize it. So while we minimize it, it's still going to be running in the background. So whatever thing we're going to be doing, it's going to be capturing. It's going to be capturing. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. Okay, Wireshark is running the back end. So it says minimize Wireshark. Click the Kali icon in the upper left corner. Search for Firefox, then press enter. So we're going to come here and click on this icon. We're going to click on Firefox. So if you don't see Firefox, just go ahead and search and type Firefox. There you go, we've got Firefox. Go ahead and click Firefox. Okay, we've got Firefox up, running. So we're going to go on step 6 and says, hey, we want you to run this get request. So the get request here is www.mycompany.com. www.mycompany.com and press enter. So in lab 6, if we had typed Google or my company and whatever we search on the website, it will capture that details and put it out there. But because secure security has been added onto the transaction. We'll be able to see the DNS name like my company, but maybe not the data inside. So we're going to go ahead and type that, which of course we type mycompany.com. 7 says, hey, close it. So we're going to go ahead and close Firefox. I'm going to close that. Okay. Step 8 says back in Wireshark, click the red square to stop the packet capture. So we're going to go back to Wireshark. We're going to come here. You see the blue fin is not highlighted in blue because it's running. So the red means if you want to stop that, so we're going to stop this capturing. So we're going to go ahead and click stop. There we go. So it's further requesting us to type DNS in the search field and press enter. So it's filtered some stuff. So step number 9 says, note that our Kali machine with the IP address, remember our IP address, our gateway, that's our gateway. So our IP address is anything. So this is our IP address for the machine. So we're going to highlight that. Was reaching out to all the name servers listed in etcresolve.conf. Of course, we had some servers that we put in there. So we put in the 1.1.1 and the 888. So that's it. You see the destination? This is the destination. That's our gateway. That's the 1.1. That's the 8. So yeah, so it was reaching out. Able to see that. Okay. Those are public IP addresses. We won't receive a response from them. So yeah, usually with public, you don't really receive response. Okay. So step 10 says, hey, luckily our gateway has a DNS resolver that has a static configuration for our local web server. Yes, of course. So it was able to resolve the domain name for us. Yep. Since we are looking for DNS responses to our queries, we can add this command. So we're going to go ahead and add that command. So we're going to do DNS space IP dot destination for DST for destination. And this is the IP address that we're looking at, 192.168.1.8. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and press the enter key. Okay, so it's filtering down to specific address, okay, to this destination. Okay, so we are going to, if you look at it, you're able to see all that query. So that's that get request, that query that we did for www.mycompany.com. So 11 says locate the packet that has, yep, that's it. We have this packet, that's it. You can expand it. So there you go. You can expand this. I think this screen is rather small. You can go ahead and expand that just to kind of see the details. But anyway, I'm just going to open this up. So it's just basically the same thing. Okay, so step 12 says in the packet details pane, expand domain name system at the bottom of the pane, locate queries and answers. Okay, in lab 6, our interest was the HTTP traffic, so we expanded just the HTTP, the internet protocol. Yep. So here, our focus is domain name, so we're going to go ahead and expand this. Click on that. So it says go right down to queries and answers. You see queries, so we can expand queries. We've got answers as well. So you see, that's it. So what we saw there is the same, but it's the most detailed way or most appropriate way to go down. So the domain, the domain name pane or system. So there you go. So step 13 says, here we can see a query for, yep, like I said, you're able to see that query. And you're also able to see the IP address that it resolved to. Okay, that's the same thing. It's captured there. See that? That's the IP address. You can click on that for full details. You can always expand. You can go to the details. Anyway, okay, so step 14. Let's click on file and export that. Every time you run a Wireshark and you want to export some specific packet, it's the same process. File, export specific packet. It's asking us to save it on the desktop. So if you look at this, we're going to do Home Kali Desktop. Home Kali Desktop. So we're going to click on Desktop here. Expand it. So we're going to go ahead and type that name, which is response.pcap. That's how we're going to save it. So we're going to click the save. File has been saved. Step 15 says close Wireshark and quit without saving, since we already saved the DNS responses. And then we're going to close the terminal. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close Wireshark. Click on the X. Say quit without saving. Yep, that's the instruction. Then we're going to go ahead and close the terminal. There you go. Finally, let's bypass DNS and browse to the site using its IP address. So we're going to go ahead and open another Firefox. So we're going to click on that. Usually we just type Firefox. Type 192.168.1.2. So that's the IP address that it got resolved to. So we're going to click. Yep. The same web page that we click on My Company, www.mycompany.com. So, yeah, that's right. So we're going to go ahead and check that out. We're going to go to step 18, which is let's switch from this Kali machine to the Windows machine. So we're going to go to the top, click on that, and we're going to switch to the Windows machine. So remember, we're required to do build a file, look at DNS settings in both Windows and Kali and Linux machine. So we are on that step now where we have to switch to the Windows machine, and we're going to go ahead and perform the task required. So now Windows machine, step 19 says press the Windows button and search for command line interface. We all know you can either press that or you can just go and type CMD. So let's just follow. So we're going to go ahead and do CMD. There you go. It says right click on it and run as administrator. So we're going to go ahead and right click and we're going to run as administrator. Remember, running the command line interface as administrator is different from just running command line. So always follow those instructions. Very important. Okay. So we're in. Step 20 says let's enter this command. I'm going to go ahead under the net SH interface, IP, show, config. So in the output, we can see a statistically configured DNS server is set to, okay, we're going to go ahead and run that. That's what it's configured to. 192.168.1.1. That's the gateway. Remember, we talked about that. If we needed to change a DNS server in Windows, we would run interface IP set DNS Ethernet static followed by the IP address of a desired DNS server. So in Windows, if we have to change it, right, that's how we're going to do. So we're going to go ahead and run that command. So that's the command. See that? So we're going to go ahead and run that command. If we have to. Basically, if we have to do it. The purpose here was just to see, you know, what is going to show up right there. So if you have to change it, right, that's exactly what you're going to do. And whatever IP address that you desire to do the change. So step 21 says we're going to go ahead and close this terminal. We're done. And we're going to go back to the Kali machine and close the terminals as well. Close everything. Okay. Then we're going to submit for grading. We've come to the end of labs 7.